We used to change the camera is broken, the monitor to check the camera is broken.
We are broken.
We are broken. Because nobody watched our stream. What else we can say? Well, I think that is a good opportunity to start. At least we want to verify if we are online. Are we online? Let me open.
Spinning.
Let me open YouTube and check.
Sorry, trusty devices to check.
Oh, episode 4. We're already there? Yes. We are there watching our own devices. As you can see, you should be seeing your... See, there is a very short delay.
Yeah, perfect.
Alright.
So now that we're going out to the whole world and nothing works, what do we want to say? Fortunately, the only thing that really has to work in order for us to do a good stream is the brains.
And they are quite alright. Actually, today the aim is to make one of us dumb and one of us smart at turns and ask a very silly question about blockchain. And I can really not see anything, eh? In theory, this button should show my face with my name underneath. And this button should show my face with no name underneath.
Okay.
And so this should show Barton with his name, introduction to Barton, and this with no name. I guess the other I'm gonna guess them as we can. And this is the computer alone. This is me and Barton with our names, and me and Barton with our names. Okay, I think this is the best configuration at the moment.
I think we just leave it like
Let's have a nice chat, and let's start with this thing. The 1 hour timer doesn't even work, but I know how we can take a 3-minute break in case it should be this one. I don't know. Yes. Who's wanna be dumb first?
Me.
Are you gonna be dumb first? Let's go. On the dumbness is for you. Pose your question.
Okay, so I'm not going to do the accent. I'm going to make someone very offended. I've been hearing on my TV and on the internet about this BitChain, Blockcoin money, and I wanted to know. Somebody said that can't be real money because it's all on the computer. So, if I have $1, I can give you the dollar. But how can you have money that only is on the computer? What makes it real?
Well, as I cannot change the buttons anymore, let me provide you with a very simple answer. Do you ever use your online banking?
In the past?
Yes, so those are money in the computer. What's the big difference between one and the cryptocurrency?
I don't know. The bank has a vault. It has a big old wheel that I can spin and take the dollars out.
Okay, so you just mentioned that you've been to your internet banking recently. When is the last time that you went inside the vault of the bank to check if your money are there, in fact?
Come to think of it, 0 times. That's how many times I've been inside the vault.
So maybe there are, maybe there are not. We trust the bank, but the bank doesn't trust as much as sometime. And this is one of the reasons when long time ago, because it's already a decade ago, somebody came up with the idea to make the same mechanics that the bank use. Money that are just in the computer, numbers that they can change, edit as much as they want, in a way that nobody can change, edit as much as they want. And they are guaranteed by mathematics. So, as much as you use the internet banking, you can use the decentralized, with no bank, internet money, with the difference that the bank can hold you and block your funds, or don't let you access simply because it's weekend and other things. The other being fully computer-based, automated, and no person to make decision, is open 24/7, accessible 24/7, and always at your disposal. But with great opportunity comes great responsibility. If you make a mistake, there is nobody to go talk to. At the bank, you can immediately call the bank and they can intervene and fix the problem.
Well, so you said something that was very confusing to me, which is that you said that there's like a bank on the internet. That part, okay. But then you use this word decentralized. What does that mean? If I want to move my money, who do I go to tell them to move my money?
I think when you use your internet banking, in a certain way you're instructing a computer to do something for you, right?
And like I picked up a phone and I called the bank.
All
and
right,
I said,
but
send some of my money and I can send you a signature.
let's say that that's a way because there is a human on the other side, and you tell this human, can you send 1,000? And this guy by mistake sent 10,000 because he didn't understand well. So you want to be sure and take responsibility about the number that you write. You go to the internet banking, you enter information in a computer, your instruction in a computer, and you send them to the bank computer. Then somebody can, as a human, make a decision if processing this thing or not. Now, the cryptocurrencies are pretty much exact identical thing without the people making decision. They've been so well pre-programmed with all the function of things that can happen or instruction that you can send. In fact, are way less the instruction you can send in cryptocurrency compared to the one that you can send to the bank. But somebody works solution in that terms too. The only thing is that is fully computer, so no human can stop, block, or make a difference on how the instructions are processed.
Well, now that makes me a little concerned. So, does that mean, say, I have a computer at home in the living room with my whole family. My family is quite large. And
you're from the south.
I couldn't help myself. I am from the south, so it's not racist when I do it.
All right.
Do you have, what if my wife, my beautiful wife, or one of my young daughters got on the computer and went to send my money? Does it have like a password?
Right, that's a good question you ask, which means that you already sold into the opportunity of this internet money and you are interested to understand if it's safe and secure. Well, as much as your bank tried to protect somebody to accessing your computer and sending money on your behalf, and they give you a small device that you need to type some numbers to match the numbers there, it works in the exact same way. People can use it without the device and it's less secure. People can use it with a device, there is a special device that is a little different from the one to the bank, that allow you to confirm, approve, and guarantee that you only can do operation in your decentralized banking that is fully automated and fully software and no humans in the middle.
Oh, what does it mean more secure? Say, are you telling me that my password is not secure? I mean, my password's a whole 6 digits.
See? I think that 6 digits are not secure as a password if the system allowed to brute force it. How many chances there are? With 6 digits, 6 numbers, people can even win the lottery, and there are 6 numbers of 80.
I figure if somebody's a lottery winner, they deserve my money.
Okay, then I can call Johnny, my friend. He just won $2.50 the other week. You can give him your money, right? Well, the level of security of a system is directly proportional to the risk that are associated with somebody figuring out how to access the system. As the bank can give you the small hardware device is to avoid that you rely on your 6-digit password, which is easy to break. Now, in the internet decentralization...
You mean like at Fort Knox, they have armed guards and concrete walls to protect all that gold, but for my bank in downtown, they don't have that much money, so they don't need all that. That's what you mean, that you need more security when you have more valuable asset.
That's correct, but in the moment that this asset is so represented digitally, the security is not much the armed guard, but is more mathematics. So if a security level to check if you're human or not is asking how much is 3 plus 2, and you know there is 7.
Five.
Five, correct.
I graduated.
But many people can arrive to the conclusion when a mathematical operation is more complex and there are some secret numbers that you only know, even knowing part of it is going to always make it impossible to be calculated correctly. So every time you try to move your internet money or cryptocurrency or do things in these systems that is not only for banking, it can be also for medical records, for your insurance, for your subscription to the golf club. It can be used for many other things.
I like that you think that I can afford a golf club.
I mean the club, not the club. But, right? So the way to secure things is moving toward this mathematical method. Think even one more thing. You go to the bank and you sign with your hands a check. And they need to make sure that the signature that you made with your hand is actually yours and not of somebody that forged it.
Oh, and my signature is quite secure too. There's a little loop at the end of the thing. Ain't nobody can do it. I've tried. I had my sister try it. I had my father try it.
And they cannot do it.
Nobody can do it.
See, but not everybody has a signature that is so difficult like yours. And in those cases, can be easily forged. For example, I didn't go to school. Actually, in this case I did. But if I didn't go to school, I would sign with the X, which is easily replicable by others. In the past, I remember some banks were asking people to put with the ink their fingerprint, but also that can be copied and faked. While the result of a mathematical operation where you only know one secret number, nobody can fake it unless they know your secret number. So it's more secure than signing by hand a check, for example.
So, okay, do me this one. You say that I got a secret number and it's somewhere inside the computer. What happens if the computer burns down with the house? Do I lose all my money? If I were at a bank, I could go and call them and I could convince them that my house burned down and I lost all of my papers that I need to convince them that it's my money.
See, first of all, you should have an insurance for your house and don't let the kids play with fire. Second,
boys will be boys.
If you have cash in your house and your house burned down, goodbye cash. So, if the bank burns down, being a private institution, you may lose your money too. Government only guarantees a small portion of the money that you have in a bank in case the bank goes legs up. For any reason, bankruptcy, they get robbed, or they get in fire, etc., etc. So, in this case, the magic internet money that people call cryptocurrencies, and they can be issued even by government to replace the actual cash, are way, way more secure in case of a fire, unless the only copy of your secret number, you kept it in a piece of paper in the house that went in fire, or you are in the house that get in fire and you die. And with that,
okay,
nobody else can.
I gotta hand it to you. This magic internet money is starting to sound pretty cool. But there's one thing that I cannot wrap my head around, and I can wrap my head around a lot of things. Where is the money?
Well, the money is in the computer, as much as the one in the bank is in the computer. So
you mean
why?
Like if I opened the computer, I would find it?
Correct. And you try, open your computer, and when you don't see them, bring to my shop, and when fixing your computer, we're going to show you that the money that were there we keep in order to pay for the repairs. Well, the money are represented in as a digit, as a value, with numbers that are managed by the computer, as much as when you use your internet banking, those money are not in your computer and not even in the bank computer. They are a representation of a number. Now you will say, but the bank has the goal to match the number. So if they...
even the US don't work like that anymore.
Right? So what I'm saying is an illusion of value, but once it's agreed between multiple parties, it holds the value. It's like a collectible card. If everybody really wants it, there are very few. Unless somebody starts printing many more identical collectible cards, then the collectible card loses all the value. But this magic internet money are stuck in a fixed amount, so nobody can make more, and they can only be destroyed.
So you've given me a pretty clever idea, son, which is, if it turns out that this money is really just a number that's written in my computer, I can go change the number.
All right.
I can be as rich as I want.
Think this, if it was so easy, they wouldn't exist. If you think that you could do that and nobody has thought about this clever idea, then you really deserve the seat that you are on. That is the seat of the dumb person. Because
Just, I think you're about to tell me somebody had thought of this before.
maybe yes, but they failed. And this is why, because in the decentralized system, because it's not a wrong thinking, because they do this at the bank, where the money is centralized in a place. They change the number in the computer. And you could do that if you hack in the bank computer, which is illegal, don't do it, and it's gonna take many years of learning computer to do that anyway. But in a decentralized system, there are many computer. I said many enough. Many.
I think that means a lot.
That's correct. That was the word. A lot of computers. And each of them need to agree on the amount of money you have. So even if you go and change 1 or 2 or 3 of this computer, the remaining 10,000 are gonna say, those change numbers are wrong, and they're gonna be kicked out.
So you mean this like if I had a debt with my friend Earl, and Earl knows, because he has a real good memory though, he knows that I borrowed $500 from him. And I come back and I tell him, hey Earl, look, I checked in my records and I already paid you back the money. And he goes, nuh-uh, you can't run that by me, son. See, Earl's got a pretty good memory. So it sounds to me like you're saying there's a lot of Earls out there who are all paying close attention to how much money they had done transacted with me before.
I give you a better analogy with your friend Earl. You borrow $500 from Earl, and then you return $250. Later one week, Earl says, you never give me this $250. So, how would you secure that he can now say so? You return him the $250 in front of 100 other friends. Mm-hmm. And everybody sees that you return the $250 as much as everybody saw that he lent you the $500. So in the moment that Earl tried to say, no, you never give me the money.
You mean then old Steve is going to say it and then the Reverend is going to say it? That's quite a good idea.
So it's going to be hard for Earl to corrupt all the 100 friends to all say that no, you didn't return the $250. Maybe you can corrupt 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 or 15.
I'd be surprised. Earl's not that popular.
See, because somebody lent money for interest too. You want one of your cows as well? So, in conclusion, the magic internet money that people call cryptocurrency, under many aspects, are more secure of the bank money, but give you the responsibility to pay attention what you do with them, because there is nobody you can call if you make a mistake. At the same time, you need to find people that agree with you that those money have a value, because if you don't find them, you can have a billion trillion small dollars that nobody accepts, and you're gonna be rich on your own. So you need to find other people that appreciate the magic internet money.
I don't know if I 100% trust the magic internet money, but I sure as hell trust it more than my government.
So you go, and you should try them. Go to bitcoin.com or to ethereum.com, and you can do a lot of interesting things. Yay. Thank you for watching this first part of a dumb Barton and a smart Roberto, which is very unreal. And we're gonna come back in 3 minutes with a reverse situation where there is a dumb Roberto and a smart Barton, which is more like reality. And here we are again, yay! Okay, look, I have a business I don't really want the government to know about. I have let's say, we can call them a client, they pay me, but at the same time, I have a lot of associates, friends, family. They are around all the country, and I want to make sure that they do things and they agree with me and they can vote in the majority. But the last time that we tried to make a vote over the phone, somebody was listening to us. Accidentally, this person had an accident after that, but it's an inconvenience. A very good friend of mine, he told me that I can use this thing called blockchain, Cholbane.
I think you mean the blockchain.
The block, you know, these things. Pay attention that I have some question for you. So, how can I use, if I use the blockchain from my cell phone, can I keep everything secret that only my friend and associate know? Or somebody can look at what I'm doing?
So, this is a tricky question. And I think the blockchain is something that can help you and your friends, who I'm perfectly convinced are doing 100% legal things. And
sure, everything illegal. You never say, why you telling this thing? Okay.
I'm sure.
Illegal.
But whether you're truly anonymous on the blockchain is a tricky question. So on the blockchain, you and each of your friends will have a particular number that identifies you. So you might be number 1, and another friend might be number 2, and another family member might be number 3.
We are 1,000 and thousands of people. What number can have somebody?
You can have number 1001 and number 2050 and
2050 was the same number in the prison that my friend had the last time I got arrested.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it was okay. We made more friends there.
I'm glad to hear.
So
on the blockchain, people can see any kind of transaction or information that goes between these numbers, but that does not mean that they necessarily know who each number is. So they can see that number 5,335 contacted number 4,227, but they don't know necessarily who these people are in the world. Now, the way that you might have to be careful is that some very clever person could go back and look at the history of all of these different communications, and they might be able to put together which person in the real world is one of these numbers.
I am not much concerned about that they see the number 7 with number 12. When I make somebody a phone call, they know the number, whatever number could the other number. What I'm interested to know, do they know what I'm saying to them? Do they know that they can confirm that they really receive my message? Can they take a vote on the decision that we know for the picnic, for the weekend? We want to go to the picnic, this thing.
So this is something that can be done with the blockchain system, you say. But you have to pay careful which technology that you pick. Because say, blockchains, there's many, many, many kinds. Some of them are able to do this thing that you want, some of them not so much. So the property that you want in a blockchain you look for, if you need to send secret messages, say, for your privacy, that you know that no other person on the world can read, then you want a blockchain that allows you to send an encrypted message. In this way, you make 100% sure that anything that goes across the internet is going to be a big random string of numbers that nobody knows, but your friend who you send the message to, he has a secret code on his computer that makes sense of the message, and he knows what you're trying to say to him. If you want to hold a vote in the same way, this is something that some blockchains support, others not so much. But if you have one that supports a vote, hopefully you have one that uses mechanisms or techniques to make sure that you can actually cast your vote and have it counted correctly without even revealing the identity of the person who cast the vote.
And this is an interesting thing. My cousin had been lucky enough to be elected in the Congress as a congressman because many friends vote for him.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And he told me that the problem when they vote there is sometimes so much privacy they see with button they are pushing. So could this voting be used also for government purposes? Because my associates, we are so many, we're like a government after all. We need to elect the bosses, we need to, take decisions.
People like me who believe in blockchain think so. We believe that this could eventually become the foundation of any kind of democratic process, whether it's for a government or within a family.
We are a democratic family. If you do something bad, you have an accident, there is a coincidence. We believe in karma.
I think I come from America and we support all democracy.
Yeah, a lot of my family in America too.
So, I think we believe that, and in order for this to be true, it must be the case that you cannot tell who voted for something, but you're still able to count the votes. And this is something that's some very tricky mathematics. There's a lot of people at universities who spend all day, eggheads if you want, thinking of these things, and maybe they come up with some very clever strategy to be sure that we can always tell that everybody actually cast a vote, and we can always tell what the vote totals came out to be, but we can never go back and unravel which person voted for which candidate.
So, to recap, with this blockchain, there is no one central computer that can shut down, so we can still in contact and do our thing, doesn't matter what. Second, we can have an identity that we recognize, but other people may not know who they are behind this identity. We can send each other a message, that this message is enriched, you say, right?
Encrypted.
Encrypted. And means that if somebody read the message while it's going through, they don't know what it means.
Cannot.
We can vote for a decision, and if somebody doesn't misbehave because vote the wrong thing, they don't know what I want, I don't know who is he. So he can remain alive, no accident happened to this guy, even if he didn't vote what I wanted. I think those are very good functionality, and they are good things for my organization, my family, But I think they can be good also for...
I have another thing that I think would be nice for your family and your organization, which is that sometimes the government demands a little bit too much money in tax, or they've alleged some kind of wrongdoing. Unjustly, of course.
Oh my God, they counted at nothing.
And sometimes
in the restaurants
they go to your bank and they'll try to freeze the assets of you and your family. Now, this is something that's really, it's unbelievable to me. And one of the things that this blockchain money that we're able to use is that no person on Earth, not a government, not a man with a gun, not anybody, is able to freeze your funds from moving from one place to another when you choose.
One time they froze the funds in the bank of my cousin Vito. Unfortunately, they found the banker frozen in the cellar of my friend in the restaurant. It's a funny coincidence in freezing, but...
I think this keeps everyone safer.
Everybody remains safer because they can now freeze the magic internet money, you say.
Yeah.
That's interesting, very interesting. But I've been told that there is so little internet magic money that when a lot of money go around, they can see much better than the paper that they provide by the government, which you can move inside the trucks where they deliver the bread to the restaurant.
Maybe this is true of blockchains today, that they have a property. What I explained earlier, that every person has a number, that you don't know who's the number, but you can see the behavior of the numbers between each other. We say that this means the blockchain is pseudonymous. So it's anonymous, but there's still information that you can use to put together who the money moved between if you really want to. And somebody very dedicated, like a government, could actually go and do this. However, there are other blockchain technologies that are being developed which are fully anonymous protocols, which means, just like the voting we discussed earlier, if you send money to your friend, no person on Earth will be able to prove that you're the one who sent the money to your friend with any amount of analysis on the blockchain. That's one of the things that we're working towards in the future of this field.
But also me, I cannot prove it to him that I send the money, so he can tell me that I need to send the money again.
Well, maybe you find some other way to prove it to him under the table if you want. No, not under the table, but between the two of you.
Okay. I like this blockchain. The internet money I'm not very convinced, but for the other things it's very useful because we have a large organization to control and it's not something we can do. Where do I buy the blockchain? In what shop is sold?
So if you want to buy the currency that moves on a blockchain...
I don't want the internet money, I want to send a message.
Okay. So, well, you go to Blockchain Zoo.
Not this kind of people.
If you want to buy a blockchain...
My cousin...
This like you ask me, where do I buy the road to drive on? I can tell you where to buy the car, but you don't have to buy the road. The road exists.
My cousin Francesco told me that in order to send a message, I need to pay. It's like putting the stamp in the letter or paying the telephone bill.
Sure. I mean, the people who do this work of keeping up this internet highway for all the messages to move on, they're not going to do it if they don't get paid somehow. This is very little money that we're talking about. Cents on the dollar.
Oh, like it's for free.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the explanation.
Certainly.
I called my friend to install a fountain in the garden of your house. I hope you appreciate it.
And I look forward to living a long, healthy life.
If you behave, we're gonna be back in 3 minutes. And we are back. I can notice that is the time of the day where the sun enters from the window, from the small part in the windows, hitting the lens of my camera and making me look like I am in the fog.
No, I think it's a mysterious effect. I like it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we're talking from the foggy area to the beach area, because you have a towel here, I guess.
Even though the buttons we have to change the scenes are totally nice and not broken,
Oh my god.
we're going to keep it on the scene because we like how it looks so much.
Well, I think that, what is this one? This one? No, this is the computer. Oh man, I am going random. Oh, this is our title. I am Mr. Roberto Capodieci. There we have a Barton Johnson. No, it's another button. Oh my god, I'm afraid to press button. Where am I? Oh no!
We're losing control.
Now there is a button that should show the two of us
On the one camera.
on one camera, but I don't remember. Now I'm gonna search now. So let me search which is the button, because we're gonna need to use.
Thank God we had 2 nice segments before this happened. So something will be salvageable.
No, now seriously, I want to talk. So this one is about. No, what? Oh, something changed. Because 1, 2, 3, this one. Aha! Got the correct camera. All right. Decentralization.
Well, what are you trying to tell me? Oh.
Huh?
Oh, the focus, the camera
Focus is there.
Oh, okay. And we need to have like a hand signal.
This is like this means this means
Yeah,
this
yeah.
means this. All right, so decentralization. We went through era, the industrial era, the evolution of technology. We entered the information era, which is the last segment of history, and we're going through an evolution inside this era, moving from the capacity to transmit data via cable and reach all the part of the world, in doing this in a more autonomous way. So now we do rely on third party to manage this information. Is it the phone call that goes through the phone company? Is it the broadcasting of video that goes through TV station or radio station for audio, or other means? Is it your email that goes through mail servers, and so on and so forth? So pretty much everything we use either is isolated in our own device, in our own computer, cell phone, home, or rely on a server in the internet, right? As blockchain comes out, that has been invented for this magic internet money, he created some very cool thing. He created a system that runs on many computers without central computer controlling. It's not a novelty, because torrent, for example, was a file distribution system. It's still running today, and also do not rely on a central computer. The quality, the reason why this is very important is because remove a central point of failure, or a central point of attack, if you want. And this concept of decentralization doesn't apply exclusively to computer or information system or high-level technology, but we can think about many other things that should be decentralized for many reasons. One very simple example is electric power. Most cities rely on one central point of production of electricity, or channeling if they purchase electricity from outside. So all electricity comes in a point, at this point distribute electricity to the city, or all electricity is produced in 1 or 2 points. At the time of the war, one of the most sensitive positions to attack and to bomb are in fact power production, because if you drop a bomb in the place where the electricity is produced for the whole city remains with no electricity. What is has to do with blockchain, you ask me? Give me some time, my God, then I'm going to explain. Because as blockchain use many computers, a city may want to use many small electricity production power things and put one each in each house or one in each area of the city, and all of those things contribute for the collective source of energy. So there is no central point that the enemy can bomb to leave the city with no electricity. But if every house has a car engine powered by gas that produces electricity for the household, and the overflow goes in the grid for all the other houses, even if one of these is broken, doesn't work, this town is going to have a constant electricity, and even the household where the electricity production is broken still have electricity from the others, right? So you decentralize the production of electricity, creating a much more secure network and electricity supply, with the only problem that the maintenance of 1,000 small units that produce electricity is more complex than the maintenance of a single central place that produces electricity. Same thing for computers, because once a network is decentralized, you need to have 1,000 computer servers that need to be maintained, rather than one more big data center that supply for everybody. But the evolution of the era we are is this. So
I think it applies in even to banking as well. I know we like to go beyond banking and money aspect of things, but say imagine in the end of the movie Fight Club when all the banks blow up, and it's supposed to reset the credit system. Can you imagine if decentralized currency had existed at that time? So the premise of that was that all these banks blow up, and all the banks have the computers, the servers that actually keep the bank's data. And if you blow up the buildings that they're hosted in, then all that data is going to get lost and all of the record is going to get reset. But if these were on cryptocurrencies where the record of who owns what and who transacted what is really distributed between thousands of computers all over the world, then blowing up those buildings means nothing. It doesn't reset anything about the system, because you have no power to go and find everybody who has a copy of the record and destroy it.
It surely created damage,
Well,
but it's limited to that.
Not to say that blowing up banks is good, but
but surely doesn't interrupt or disrupt or create any damage to the data that represent the money that the bank was managing. And that's correct. And because this is also in a way cheaper, because it distributes the cost along many parties. So in the complex is more expensive in the total, but in the single part is way cheaper. That for this precise reason, many consortium group of banks, for example, hospitals, hotels, large corporations that have offices around the world, are looking deeply into blockchain as a tool to distribute the responsibility to that along all the different office or parties that need to work together in the same data, and at the same time reduce cost, reduce a lot of human error that are applied before. Very silly things, for example, and I thought that in year 2020 we will be advanced enough not to have certain issue, but in year 2020 you still need to send a fax to the bank, which blows my brain. Handwritten fax, not even typed in a computer. But for this reason, the counting that is kept between branches of the same bank around the world may end up to have, because of the different time zone, a month closing in a branch in one day, when the same transaction that is happening in the same instant worldwide end up in the counting of the previous month of a branch and in the next month of the other branch, creating a huge amount of discrepancies which are corrected manually. There are literally floor and floor in banks of people with Excel files that fix these errors. And because they're human, they may generate more.
So the connection between what we spent the first part of this show talking about, which is people who maybe don't understand as much about blockchain, trying to understand a little bit better and trying to wrap their head around it. The connection between that and what you're talking about in the decentralized era that's coming along, where all of these problems that we still struggle with as a society can be fixed by blockchain and decentralized systems. And the connection between these two things is that in order for us to really arrive in the decentralized era, in order for us really to bring about that condition, everybody has to understand. Not everybody, like everybody's grandma and their dog, but a lot of people have to really understand what these systems are, how they work, what makes them different from the old way, and have to actually continue. Am I supposed to? What are you doing?
I'm thinking that maybe after all this instruction, I'm understanding blockchain better. I understand why it's needed. I understand why I want it in my house.
Somewhere there's a guy who looks just like that going like, that's not how I talk.
Oh Lord, we are invaded by crazy people in this place. I don't know, next time I'm gonna start dancing again naked. Let's see if at least one people are gonna watch our stream.
We should just drop the whole podcast into a sketch comedy show.
No, but I do believe that probably entertaining people at the beginning with simple question and a little bit of humor trigger they need to understand. And a third part that is gonna last another 7 minutes only though, where we seriously explain the mechanics of decentralization, the need of the technology to produce systems that can support. Maybe people is wondering, what is for? You have a practical example about the use of blockchain that is not the magic internet money. Tell me something that, in my daily life, I may find very useful.
Yeah, they say, I need to make documents, I go online and make documents. I need to send a fax, I send a fax. I need to send an email, I send an email. What do I need this other thing for?
Exactly.
I need to make the phone call, I do Skype. I need to... So it's on us to really make the case for why these things that people are doing could run over a properly decentralized system instead. In fact, some of those examples we mentioned, like Skype, for example, already has a partly decentralized architecture. So the fact that you can pick up your Skype call at any time and contact somebody on the other planet and have a video call with them, that's already only possible because somebody came up with some kind of decentralized system. If you flowed all that directly through a central data center, you'd have a big problem.
So, people don't care. People is doing very well with what they do. I think that though, somebody made a nice analogy about the struggle of the email to succeed when fax was the best method to do things, right? I can easily write a letter on paper, which is next to me, put in there, put the phone number of the recipient, and the letter suddenly is there. With the computer at the time was dial-up, so I need to make sure nobody's using the phone in the house. I need to turn on the computer, turn on the modem, turn on my software, Outlook or whatever was it, connect to the internet, type the email, send the email, most of the time making a phone call to the other guy saying, hey, I sent you an email, did you receive it or not? Fax was absolutely easier to use, direct, secure, because if it doesn't go inside means it's not coming out on the other side, I don't need to make phone calls or sort. So the question is, blockchain is the email at the time of the fax. So blockchain is more complex for many things compared the way that they're working now, and is an obstacle for it to succeed. But the email start winning on top of fax in the moment that I can put an attachment to an email, because you cannot put an attachment to a fax. So I can attach a Word document that the other person can edit and send back to me. On the fax, I cannot do that. At that point...
Already, as much as you don't want this to be the only example we make, you can't email someone money, but you already can blockchain someone money.
Oh, I mean, if your scanner works very well and the printer works... Well, Google will say that you're wrong, because with Google Pay, you can actually send an email with money attached to it. But you're still going through a centralized part.
Yeah,
exactly.
But you can't send them the equivalent of cash that nobody can intercept and nobody can prevent them from spending.
Absolutely.
As soon as Google decides that they don't like you, or you're a spammer, or you're a Russian bot or whatever, then...
But now, this is something I want to ask the public. I know that today nobody's watching this stream, but probably in 1 year when we're famous and more handsome, people are going to watch the past streams. So my question is, and it's a question for the future, but people can message me now or ask blockchains or whatever. How many of you still using email? How many gave up because you receive a lot of crap out of one important email? What if people had to pay 25 cents each email they send to you? Of which 10 cents comes to you. Okay? I do believe that the only email you receive are very important emails. Very well written. You don't receive 5 emails with a little bit on each, but you receive one big email with everything. And will be blockchain a good tool to implement such thing?
Could be, I think.
So we can attach to the email protocol, to mail servers, a blockchain node that automatically approve and filters email when the payment is attached. Somebody want very much, maybe you are the CEO of a large corporation, you are an actor, a famous person, and somebody want really you see their email, so they put on the email a stamp for $1,000, so it's gonna be the first email of your inbox. Okay, inbox is sorted based on how much people pay to send you the email.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
I wish people would send me money, would pay me to send.
Well, I think that's something that can be implemented if there is enough interest. It's not really complicated things to do, and we're happy for anybody to do it, maybe on top of our technology.
In fact, maybe one of the episodes of this show that we do, you and I can talk about in detail how the blockchain email would work.
All right. Blockchain email in the next episode of Roberto and Barton R&D, I think is a good idea. We are at the end of this scarce hour of streaming, and we have cheerleaders here. Nobody can see, but behind the camera there are cheerleaders jumping.
Very exciting for us.
And I think we're gonna meet again next Monday with blockchain and crypto talk. But the next Friday, same time at 3 p.m., we're gonna have more crazy kind of things and more fun. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.